Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Inside View Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Josh Zuniga. I'm here with the magnificent Carl Freund. Welcome back.
Dude, the adjectives are just on point.
I know, it's a new one every single time. But welcome back, guys. Today we are going to talk about home equity. And the reason why we're explaining that because there's a lot of people out there that have taken advantage of what the market's been for the last couple of years. Just like within Arizona, we've had a 8 or 9% appreciation rate here within Maricopa County alone. So there's a lot of people sitting on money inside of their house, and that's called equity, right?
It's locked up.
Exactly, but it's locked up. So we want to give you options, and we want to have an open discussion on exactly if you're looking to sell, or if you're looking to use that equity to actually make additional investments. We're going to talk about that. Carl, I want you to tap into exactly what is equity and give them a little breakdown and some of the options that you would choose off the bat.
It's like ACON, man. It's locked up. You can't do that, right? Yeah. So you need to unlock that. How are you going to do that? And so what you really need to do is think about the equity in your house is making you literally fucking 0%.
Yeah.
0%.
Zero.
And what I want you to do is take advantage of the banks, because banks are dumb. And what are they going to do? They're going to lend you money at like 3.5%. And what you're going to do with that is what Josh and I would kind of call a split. And what you need to do is take your equity out of your primary residence and basically buy another investment property, and your cash on cash return, that little margin there is called arbitrage. And what you're doing is you're borrowing at 3.5%, and if your cash on cash return is 10%, 12%, 13%, 15%, depending if Josh can get you into good property, which he can, then you're gonna make that difference. And not only that, but you're gonna appreciate, you're gonna be able to build a massive real estate portfolio, you're gonna be able to do it without a whole lot of risk, and understand that you can leverage yourself and really take advantage of dumb banks giving you free cash right now. Guys, it's free. Like 3.5% is free because it's not even gonna keep up with inflation, right?
Yeah.
And so understand that you need to dispose of your cash as fast as you possibly can. And a lot of people say, hey, Carl, how much cash do you keep in the bank? And I say, very little, because it doesn't make me any money when it does that. The same thing is true when it's in your house. If it's locked up in your house, it ain't making you any money. It's stupid. You have the ability to double down on these properties. You can get into an Airbnb. You can do fix and flips. You can do a home equity line of credit. You can do some very, very creative things to pull the money out to do a down payment on your investment property and make more money, build a real estate portfolio for generational wealth. This is stuff that a lot of people don't know, but if you're paying taxes on real estate right now, you're fucked. You're doing something wrong. You need a good accountant, right? And
yes.
So excuse my language, but it really upsets me when people do stupid shit because they don't consult with a really good real estate agent like Josh Zuniga, or myself, in understanding that we can point you in the right direction and say, hey, look, if you need to get into an investment property, or if you need to upgrade, turning your primary that you have right now that you only put 3.5% down on, maybe refinancing that, get rid of the PMI, get rid of the mortgage insurance, and then lower the payment on that, use that as a rental, and then you can double down and buy another investment property or buy another primary. Like, there's so many ways to get rich in real estate. And banks will finance it for you. They will give you the money really inexpensively right now.
Yeah. And to go back to exactly what Carl was saying, like if you have a house right now, or if you own one and you've actually wrote it out for the last 2, 3, 4 years, you have
1 year.
Yeah, exactly. 1 year, especially if you're here within Phoenix. You have a lot of equity, and your options are, one, you could sell, and obviously if you have to obviously you have to pay capital gains if you live in there.
Short-term capital gains,
exactly,
yes.
Short-term capital gains. But then you also have the ability to do an equity home line of credit, which is an option, or you can actually do a cash out refinance to actually relieve some of that cash and actually put it into different investments. And like Carl was explaining, you have the option to do several of them. One can be like a short-term rental, like you can turn that into an Airbnb, and I know we can do a whole series on Airbnbs, and those cash flow anywhere from, on average, $40,000 to $60,000.
It depends on the property.
Depending on the property and the location. You can put it into a multifamily, which is nice. You can instead of just buying one, so you're going to buy a house, now you can buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex and use FHA financing or conventional financing.
It's insane.
And you don't have to do a commercial loan. That's an additional one. Or if you want to keep your house, those other two options we get, you can go and buy that investment property, and now you actually have a property that can actually cash flow, like Carl was saying. They're letting you borrow the money at 3%. If you're making 15 on this, cash on cash, minus the 3, you're still in a good position at 12, right?
It's insane.
So it makes absolute sense. And I've had so many questions, and so many clients, come to me, Josh, what should I do? What should I do? Well, let's take a sit let's take a step back and sit down and see exactly what are your goals for the next 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. Do you want to be working for the rest of your life? No, absolutely not. I'm trying to create a retirement plan. You say like something that's generational wealth for my family. I don't retiring at 65 is not sexy. So what are you doing today to plan for the next 10 years so you can bust your ass there? Me personally, by the end of this year, I'll have 4 properties doing traditional financing. There's a trick and a tip, and I can show you guys if you want to. Just reach out to me. I can show you how to do it. But outside of that, going and actually creating this cash flow system and actually having residual income, guys. Residual income is the key to actually having a wonderful lifestyle and creating a wonderful generational wealth, for you and for your family. Because, and I love the saying, cash is trash.
Yeah,
having it in the bank is not doing anything for you. It needs to be diversified and put into different investments, whether you want real estate or say even Bitcoin. That's another whole conversation with that too. Right to actually start making money for yourself, and that's important. And I know Carl can touch more on that because he wants to set up his family and his life, for years to come. So if that's one of your goals, you definitely want to tune into that.
Guys, start young too, and you could be in your 30s, but think about it, most people get 30-year financing, right? So if you were able to build a portfolio of 5-6 homes now on 30-year loans, in 30 years when you're 60 or 65, they'll all be paid off. And then you just have the straight cash flow. That is your retirement, right? And then you can still pull equity from those houses if you needed to. So there's so many options to build wealth and generational wealth and avoid paying taxes when you're doing it.
Yeah. And little plug, with exactly what Carl was saying, just to kind of give you like a full perspective. So say you bought a rental property. Okay, cool. Say the mortgage on it is, $1,000, but you're actually going to rent it out for $500. So that's a $500 worth of cash flow. You times that by 12, that's $6,000 worth of cash flow you're receiving, annual on that. The other advantage is obviously you get to take advantage of the appreciation on that. Any repairs, obviously it's actually a tax write-off as well. And like I said, the
property taxes,
the tenant is paying down your mortgage, guys, and they're giving you cash flow, and that property is rising in equity. So it's increasing in value as well. And if you ever have to tap into that equity and buy another one at a future date, you can do that.
Yes.
And that's the power of real estate, guys. And this is something that's very, 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 very important. And I want a lot of people, not only just, my age millennials and, Gen X, but there's a lot of individuals, even in their 40s and 50s that don't know this information, that can educate themselves to start doing this. Because I had my general contractor, he's 56. He's like, Josh, I have X amount in the bank, but I need to start thinking about something because I need to start thinking about retirement. I don't want to work till I'm 70. And we sat down and we discussed it. And these are the conversations you need to start having, like Carl said, early. So if you have questions like that, guys, feel free to reach out to us. If this is something of interest to you, you want to start creating generational wealth and you want to start investing, please reach out to us. We're happy to explain to you all the details to you and really get into the nitty and gritty of what your financial goals are for here in the future. But until next time, guys, please stay tuned to the Inside View Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Josh, and this is my beautiful and amazing host, Carl Friend. Stay tuned for the next episode.